Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Nadaya and I will be discussing the attitudes of Christian men versus Muslim men on women as the breadwinners. So what's a breadwinner? Breadwinner is a figure of speech that we use in English. It's pretty much defined as a person who's taking care of his or her family from their earnings. Some facts for you all pertaining to the study are that 37.5% of women in between the ages of 25 and 34 years old have a bachelor's degree or higher, compared to only 29.5% of men in the same age group. 40% of wives in the United States out-earn their husbands. And according to an article that I read on Refinery 29, women who make more than men go through challenges in their relationship, and it's pretty much looked at as an obstacle for a couple to overcome. Women have even reported that this dilemma causes emotional and psychological problems. In a study by University of Chicago, they found that through 4,000 married couples who had responded to a survey that they conducted, where the wife was the breadwinner, the rate of the couple feeling happy in the relationship actually fell by 6%, and they were more likely to have discussed separating in the past year. Christians versus Muslims. In Christianity and Islam, there are passages in both the religious texts, the Holy Bible for the Christians and the Quran for the Muslims, that speak about men being financially responsible for their wives and children. The Islamic view, women in Islam don't really have financial obligation, and it's actually up to the man who's responsible for the home, the clothing, and financial aspects. The Christian view, according to the Bible, it's specified in Timothy 5:8. It discusses that a man who doesn't provide for his household is just as bad as a man who has no faith at all. Back in 2010, people who were followers of Christianity were estimated at 2.2 billion, which was 31% of the global population of 6.9 billion people on this earth, and Islam was the second on the list at 1.6 billion followers, which was 23% of the global population. So I'm discussing the two top religions on this earth, people. I was able to get 14 participants for this study, 8 which were Christians and 6 who were Muslims, and I provided a graph. The sample was obtained through a combination of convenience and voluntary sample. I sent text messages to all the males on my contacts list, which weren't a lot because I'm married. And I also posted on my social media pages and asked if there were any males who were interested in participating in the questionnaire. And the people who actually responded were pretty diverse. They ranged from ages 18 all the way up to 58. They were from various religions, ethnicities, and backgrounds. So the top questionnaire questions, there are 3 now. Originally it has 7 questions on the questionnaire. However, these 3 are the most relevant to the study. So, would women as a breadwinner cause a conflict? Majority of the Christians answered no. Do you feel you could be happy in a relationship where the woman is the breadwinner? Majority of the Christians answered most likely, while it was an even split for the Muslims across all categories. When you were growing up, who was the breadwinner in your family? Muslims answered father more frequently than the Christians. Now I'm going to explain the results. So the question, would women as breadwinners cause a conflict? The majority of the Christians answered no, which were 5, and the majority of the Muslims also answered no, which were 3. So there wasn't really too much differences between these two for this question. And this could be because we're now in an age where women, have rights and we're obtaining degrees, and this is just changing the way that men look at women in general, and they're more accepting of it. So, the second question, do you feel you could be happy in a relationship with a woman making more than you? Majority of the Christians said yes, while it was an even split in each category for the Muslims. This could be because Muslims aren't all that concerned with happiness. According to Muslim Marriage Guide, that they feel that what they feel toward a particular person is not of great importance. What's really important is finding a woman of God, and the point of a relationship is to a marriage, I should say, because there's no relationships, no dating allowed in Islam. So in a marriage, it's to please your sexual desires and to build a family. That's the most important things. It's not about whether you're happy with the person. So I feel that maybe this is the reason why there are different results for this question comparing to the Christians. When you were growing up, who was the breadwinner in your family? So this question, I feel, gives insight on the findings from the study. Muslims had more fathers who were the main breadwinners than Christians who were equally split between the mother and the father in the family. So I feel like this is because Muslims, according to my interviewee, Mansour, feels that Muslims truly believe that they should be the ones taking care of their wives and their children, and they take it seriously. The conclusion of my study is, according to the results, there really weren't that many differences. So I was actually surprised in the results that there weren't that many differences between Christians and Muslims when comparing their attitudes toward women being the breadwinners. Although there was just a slight edge with the Muslims preferring to support their wives more than the other way around. A reason for this slight edge could be, just as Daily Mail discusses, that they're more traditional, discusses about traditional roles and about how years ago the man was the one to take care of the bills, the woman would take care of the children in the house, and it still remains throughout society today. In my opinion, I believe that women are becoming more independent and just wanting to take care of themselves instead of having to rely on a man to do this, especially since we have the right to do this. As you notice in the results from my study, men of all religions, ethnicities, and backgrounds are all starting to realize that women are breadwinners. Women as breadwinners are here to stay, and this is going to continue to shift the traditional gender roles of the past, where we used to see women as the housewives. It's not going to be as common anymore, and I believe this will generate a social revolution. I wanted to point out an extraneous variable. Their extraneous variables are undesirable variables that could have an influence on the outcome of the results. So the participants may have been afraid to be completely honest with me, since they weren't anonymous in this study. I knew them. I asked them would they want to participate, and they had the option to or to not. And I feel that maybe the results would have been a little bit more reliable if I had more time and the participants could have, completed a questionnaire like online or in the, postal mail, not knowing who would be receiving the results, not knowing that I would be the one, because they may look at me and be like, hey, I don't want Ashley Nadia to know that this is how I feel. So I feel like that could be an extraneous variable, and I thought that would be relevant to bring up. And here are my references. Thank you.